Everyone loves holding babies. Usually after they hold babies, they get baby fever. Usually this happens in women more so than men, but it still happens with men. Usually they decide that maybe they want their first child, maybe they just want another child. Um, Although, sadly, in today, some people aren't able to make that decision and they're just not able to get pregnant. They have a lot of complications, and usually it's more so in women than it is with men. But luckily, today technology has come a long ways, and they have come up with something called in vitro fertilization, also known as IVF. So today I would like to discuss what I call the 3 R's, some of the reasons why women decide to go with IVF, some of the risks that are involved with IVF, as well as the results from having this procedure done. I've done a lot of research throughout a few years in this actual topic, and some of the main reasons that I found through AmericanPregnancy.org. And the reason that females have more complications because they may have endometriosis, they may have ovulation disorders, uterine fibroids, as well as blocked fallopian tubes. So usually these issues are easy to get around with IVF, but they still are issues. Usually with men, they're just sterile, so they're unable to get the woman pregnant. Even with all the reasons, so with these reasons, there are also a lot of risks that come along with IVF. Some of the main risks that there are you may have multiple births, have more than one child at a time, or it also increases the risk of miscarriage. It may not only be early on during the pregnancy, but it may be later throughout the pregnancy that you miscarry the child. And also birth defects, because this comes from them actually fertilizing more than one egg. So it kind of throws in some complications there. Even with all the risks that are involved, a lot of women decide they still want to go through with it because the results are worth it all. After I've done a lot of research, after looking through the Mayo Clinic and finding all the risks that are involved with this, I've looked on to advancedfertility.com and kind of figured out afterwards the results of it as to how it all pans out. Usually within 10 to 14 days after the egg has been placed in the woman's uterus, they do a blood testing to find out if it has actually caught and if the woman is pregnant or if the pregnancy test is negative. Usually, if it does come back positive, they go ahead and they send the lady to obstetrics and let that doctor take over from there. If it did come back negative, they go ahead and they immediately stop the woman from taking progesterone, and usually within a few days her period will start afterwards. A lot of women, they don't have any limitations on how many times you can do IVF. You can do it as many times as the woman is willing to try it, but it also is very costly. So with all this being said, luckily, with all the technology that is out there, we are able to still be able to have children even if we do have these complications. It can be a painful process. It's not exactly very comforting, but in the end, when you're holding that sweet bundle of joy because it's caught and you've been able to have your child, it makes it all worth it. So that is my conclusion on IVF. I've done a lot of research with this because I do have complications myself, so it is something that I have been very interested in. So thank you for listening.